Homeland Security. Antifa terrorists are threatening the families of our law enforcement. We will hunt these sickos down and put them behind bars. In Texas, the spouse of an ICE officer received a voicemail filled with violent threats. If you don't believe that radical anarchists want ICE law enforcement dead, listen to this. Oh, don't mind if we do. We're going to listen to this.
I'm just calling to say, assuming you're married to and with a last name like that, I don't know how you let your husband work for ICE and you sleep at night. You, your family. I hope your kids get deported by accident. How do you sleep? You. Did you hear what happened to the Nazis after World War II? Because that's what's going to happen to your family.
Well, we tried to listen to it with all those beeps happening. It was kind of hard to make out what the beep she was saying. So, yeah, a bunch of raving lunatics. This is why ICE keep their faces covered, because they get fucking doxxed by the left, because that's what the left does. When somebody says something that they don't like, and that person that they don't like gets a lot of attention, then they come after them with a fucking vengeance. They get their bank accounts canceled. They reach out to their landlords to try to get them thrown out of the place they live in. They call their workplace to get them fired. That's the tactics of the left. That's what they've been doing for probably well over a decade, but most notably over the last decade at least. All right, from Homeland Security, dear Antifa, we're taking our country back. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Take a watch. Oh no, I can't do that because it's going to copyright it and ban my video in other countries. That's not going to be good, but here, at least we'll show the footage. I mean, this is actual footage of what the fuck they've been dealing with. That's in Chicago. That's when they dropped over that apartment building where Tren de Aragao was held up. They arrested like 100 of them in that building. A whole bunch of them. They did, man. They literally like rappelled down from the helicopter. There's a word for it. I don't know what the word is. But yeah, so that happened. The deportations shall continue. And we got a few years left to go. Got to vote for J.D. Vance in 2028, and then we'll get 4 more years of this fun. All right, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Portland, heads up. Blocking entries, exits, or roadways is not peaceful protest. It's obstruction, and you will be arrested. I've been saying that every day on this show for at least a couple of weeks, that if they block the entrance or if they block an ICE vehicle, that is obstruction. You can receive up to 8 years in federal prison if you're arrested for doing so. And maybe, just maybe, one of these days, ICE might actually start arresting all of these people doing it, because there's a lot of them doing it, and every time that I watch anything from them, when they're arresting people, they only seem to be arresting people that are throwing stuff at them or assaulting them, but not sure if there's going to be music. Okay, no, here we go.
Anyone, to include the press, trespassing on federal property is subject to arrest.
Listen to them. They're out there fucking partying. Woo, yeah, party time, man. Yeah, let's go fight some cops. All right. You know, that it's just kind of annoying whenever, who is this again? Homeland Security. It's annoying when government entities post on X and then they play music that's either it's mainstream music or at the very least it's copyrighted music. You should be playing something that's like no copyright. There's plenty of that stuff over on YouTube. You'd think that the government would be doing that because, I mean, our federal tax dollars, are we paying these musicians for our government to be able to play their music on these videos? Because I would absolutely cringe to imagine the amount of money that the government's paying them to be able to use their music in just these random freaking videos. So anyway, this comes from Senator Dick Durbin. He's the Senate minority, or the Democratic whip of the Senate. And he's also on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Anyway, he says, "We were just denied entrance to the Broadview ICE facility in Illinois. What is the Trump administration hiding?" Well, it's not what they're hiding. It's because it's typically unsafe when members of Congress just show up because they got to secure the building, not only on the outside, but on the inside as well. But yeah, of course, they showed up today because they knew they weren't going to be allowed in, because that's just not what happens. Members of Congress are required to be allowed into the facility, but they have to give up to 72 hours notice, or I think it's a minimum of 72 hours notice, so everything can be properly secure. But of course, the Democrats are like, well, that just gives them time to hide all the evil stuff they're doing. They collapse all the cages, and then they bring out actual beds and cots because they make everybody sleep on concrete and all this bullshit. But
the stuff that he's doing is against the law and has been ruled so in federal courts. Senator Durbin, you said you would work with any administration to stop crime. The president has said that he's willing to work with you. Why not take him up on his offer?
The very point made by Senator Duckworth. When we look at his budget, he ends up cutting the very programs that our police have asked for and what they need.
But y'all are
They
defund
have
the
a tough
police.
time recruiting new policemen. They're offering $50,000 incentives for those who sign up for.
Dude, I don't know if your base is really going to like that. You using that language, talking about funding police and hiring more police. I don't think that your radical leftist base, the same base that you shut the government down to please, I don't think they're really going to like what you're saying there, dude.
What about our local policemen? We need more on the streets and more doing the professional work there. Let's put the federal resources in with the state and local resources and do it together in a cooperative fashion, not force it down our throats of sending in troops.
Yeah, so when you fund all of this law enforcement, then you could just tell them to stand the fuck down and don't do anything. Yeah, we're going to hire, hundreds or even thousands of more officers to do what? You tell them to stand down at every freaking opportunity. That's not going to solve anything.
Texas.
What it's going to do is waste money.
No, I don't.
No, not at all. The $800 million that was appropriated was done
here
in a
comes Unhinged.
bipartisan way that he has now diverted away from what it was intended to do, which is to help local law enforcement. What about it?
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if local law enforcement were to help the federal government, but they're not doing that. So why the hell give them money if they're not going to help them either way? All right, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they, quote, they know when ICE shows up in their communities, it's going to be a bad day for gang members. ICE deputy on arresting a Latin Kings gang member who put a bounty on a U.S. Border Patrol chief.
Juan Espinoza Martinez, 37 years old, of Chicago. Apparently, with the Latin Kings gang, he was accused of offering a bounty to kill Border Patrol commander, $2,000 for info on him and $10,000 if you take him down.
That is a very interesting
this guy
outfit.
Who offered that bounty
looks
is
like
now
a
in
wool
custody.
tie.
Is he the only one
Never
that's
seen a
doing this
wool
kind of
tie
thing, or is
before.
this becoming more systemic?
We're seeing this more and more nationwide as President Trump and Secretary Noem and the men and women of ICE, Border Patrol, and our other federal partners to continue to go after these gang members, murderers, and rapists. They know that when ICE shows up
Looks
in their
like Jared
communities,
Leto.
it's going to be a bad day for gang members. And we will continue to go after these people. This is another prime example of somebody who put a hit out on our officers while they're out trying to do their job. The men and women of ICE care about our communities, care about keeping people safe, and the gang members don't want us there, and we'll continue to go after them when they want to wreak havoc on the American people.
All right, man. Regardless of what she looks like, at least they're getting the job done. That's all I care about at the end of the day. Get rid of all these criminal assholes. From Homeland Security, want to know how corrupt Sanctuary New York City is? They handed out a commercial driver's license to an illegal alien, and they actually issued it to no name given. Look at this shit. No name given on his commercial driver's license. You can't make this shit up. Our brave ICE-Gov officers are working to prevent this kind of threat to public safety. Just one more look at it. Absolutely insanity in the state of New York. You don't even have to give them a name, and then they'll give you a CDL. Also, Homeland Security, at Newsweek, this is fake news. Robert Matuz Podskarby is a criminally illegal alien from Poland with an outstanding arrest warrant for weapon and drug charges. In the U.S., he was also charged with driving under the influence. Stop spreading anti-ICE propaganda for criminals. And the headline from Newsweek, green card holder detained by ICE before attending a wedding. Green card holder. Apparently that was up and down, fake ass news. Maybe he had a green card like 20 years ago and it probably expired or some shit. So yeah, it doesn't look like they have the article, but that's all right.